Hey guys, Jeff here from HigherTrustMarketing.com and InfoMarketerZone.com. Just wanted to touch on something today that I've been dealing with a lot this week as I go through coaching some people over at InfoMarketerZone.com. A lot of people fall into, this is what I call sort of the belief versus the reality dichotomy in business. And I think anyone, if you talk to anyone that's been through business, they understand this, they'll get this right away. But for people that are starting out, that are new, it's a bit of a shock. And it takes a certain mindset. And even though the reality may look confusing and may have some stops and starts, what you'll learn pretty quickly is that those stops and starts are actually what helps you get to the end point faster than anyone else, and you can't short circuit that success. So what are we talking about here? Well, the belief on the left side here is really that there are two clear paths to starting your own business and achieving success, right? There's a right way and there's a wrong way. And if that you can transition along the way, but you either have to pick one or two paths, that it's black and white, that there's certainty. There's a right way to set up your online business, to choose your niche market, to choose your product, to be able to market online, and there's a wrong way. The reality of it is, though, and I'll use some examples here, is that there are stops and starts for anyone, and you have to work through these. So when a lot of people are looking for the secret formula or the secret steps to be able to launch their own business, why they can't find that is because, in effect, there is no single secret method that will work for every single person. There are certainly shortcuts. There are systems, there are tactics that will work and get you part of the way there, that will give you a sense of where to start out on the path so that you can make your way to the next step in your business. But there is no sort of secret method that's going to get you from step A to step Z over here and succeed, right? And equally, there is no path that's completely wrong either. So let's just say you're starting out, and your first step is to choose your niche market and choose your type of business. What kind of business am I going to do? Well, a lot of people might get stuck at that phase right at the very beginning. They may get stuck trying to choose their niche or trying to choose their market, right? But maybe you get past that point. You actually do get some help, and you understand that you match up some areas of passion and interest, and you do find a commercially viable idea, right? And that's a big step. It's a critical step in the business, and a lot of people do get lost at this point. And a lot of people get lost and they figure, okay, that's the end of the path. I can't start a business, but that's not true, right? It just means you've hit a temporary stopping point, and you need to figure that one out and solve the problem. The next phase, let's say you've got your market, you've got your product. But the next stage might be, how do I go about operationalizing that? What kind of website do I set up? How do I, what's going to be my method to communicate to the market and reach the market? Am I going to set up a blog? Am I going to start video marketing? Am I going to write a published book? Am I going to, go through a lot of paid advertising? What types of pages, websites? A lot of questions in here, and a lot of people, again, they hit an obstacle and they get stuck, and they assume that there's one right way to do this. Well, there's not. The fact is, and you might have seen this on my blog lately over at highertrustmarketing.com/blog, that, there's a ton of different ways that I've worked with a lot of successful people in the business, and they each have slightly different ways of using their strengths and reaching their market and communicating their market. What you have to really do here is identify what you do well. If you love doing videos and you can communicate really well through talking head videos, then set up a video blog, and that's the way you communicate with your market. If you're great at influencing people through text, then you write articles or you write email sequences. If you're a master mathematician, you understand stats and testing, and you run paid ads, right? That sort of thing. So you've got to figure out what works for you. Those all are systems that will lead ultimately to success, but you got to figure out the right one for you, right? So another roadblock might come in how do you achieve certain levels of success maybe you've sold a couple $1,000s in your business, but you need to figure out, how do I get to the next stage? Do I need to hire people? Do I need to outsource? How do I scale? How do I duplicate the success I've had? Again, a lot of people get stuck at this point. So I think you see what I'm saying here is that just because you reach an obstacle at a certain point in your business, that's actually a healthy thing. And I want you to start changing your mindset to believing that the sooner, what I call failing fast, right? The sooner you can reach those tension points, those points where you're just not quite clear and you can just burst right through them, the better, right? Because that means you've learned something. You've had feedback. It's the best kind of learning for you, and you'll find your way through your business onto the next step. Once you've done this a few times, it will become much more clear to you how to reach this end goal, right? But you can't short circuit it. You need to go through these stopping points, even if you get successful systems and some help and some mentorship. And in fact, that's what I would advise that anyone that is experiencing some of these starts and stops or wants to go through this process for the first time is really get yourself a site, some help, some mentorship help to help you work through these so that you don't get stuck here for days, weeks, months. But it's really just a matter of hours or at the most days where you can work your way through, and you get a lot of input into how, from other people that have gone through this, obviously a number of times, and help people work through this. So you certainly have that at a site like infomarketerzone.com. We do a lot of mentorship. We have private mentors forums over there. And this is the reason we do that, by the way. It's not because we enjoy necessarily answering a ton of questions in a day and working hand in hand. It's just that it's a necessity. It's what really works for people. It's this process is a bit of an ugly, dirty process, especially the first few times you've been through it, but it's highly educational, and it is, in my opinion and in my experience, it's the only way to achieving the desired outcome. Okay, so I hope that that answers some questions and sort of changes your mindset to accepting the reality of building a business and accepting setbacks and failures, but almost embracing them and trying to fail fast so that you can get to that ultimate endpoint. If you have any questions, I'm going to post this on the blog. You'll see comments on the blog. You can ask your questions for sure, make any comments you want. And other than that, we'll see you in the next video. So bye-bye for now.